where my street foodies at. Okay, y'all know there is almost nothing that I enjoy better than waking up in the morning, going out into the streets, and finding breakfast. I don't know if I'm just engaging with my ancient hunter-gatherer DNA, more the gatherer than the hunter, obviously, but going out there and finding that sweet, sweet bounty of the streets, bringing it home for breakfast, you know, maybe eating it on the road. This is what I love to do. But look, I don't live in China anymore, okay? So I don't get down like that. There's no street carts, okay? There's no jianbing guozi. There's no dude that I know who sees me come and starts making my order. None of that. But sometimes I'm still just longing for that street food, and I just gotta take matters into my own hands. I'm talking about Cai Jiamo. Veggie sandwich. You eat it for breakfast. It's an awesome bread stuffed with these like different salads and an egg, and it's great, okay? It's great. The thing is, there's lots of parts, okay? There's lots of elements that you gotta bring together into a Cai Jiamo. So I'm gonna teach you over the next couple weeks how to make this joint. First thing we're gonna learn how to do is make some breads. We're gonna make 2 different kinds of bread today, okay? They start out the same with flour. I'll put all the measurements and stuff in the description below, so you don't have to like watch this video for the recipe. You can just read it below. Skip the whole video if you want. Some sugar, some salt, got lukewarm water. You dissolve the yeast into that. You know, sometimes you do that with breads. You don't have to. That's just the way that they're doing it. And you know, that's fine. Following the recipe. Gonna add some vegetable oil and some rice vinegar. Put the yeast mixture in there, and some milk. This also uses milk, this recipe. And some water. Let me just tell you, okay, the amount of water that it said to use was not nearly enough. I kept checking the recipe, and I was like, are you sure that's all? And they were like, we'll add more water if you need it. Look, I needed it, okay? Look at me dumping this out when it's not even together yet, just trying to get it together. I'm gonna be honest with you, this bread was kind of a mess. It turned out fine, okay, so you can watch it. Look at me adding water this late in the process, realizing, oh, this is still way too stiff. And I kept adding water. This is not how you should do it, okay? You should add more water first. And I'm gonna take the recipe that I had and then add a lot of water and then put that below. But anyway, I'm kneading it. This is a really stiff dough. This one should not be that stiff, okay? It doesn't need to be that stiff. I was putting my back into it. The girls were saying that they were like seeing the countertop bend. Okay, we got it into a ball. It's finally starting to get more elastic now. Put that in a bowl, rest it for a couple hours, hour and a half. It should about double in size, which it did. That's good. Punch it down. That's the funnest part. Now here's what they said to do. They said to like roll it out and then add the baking powder. First time I made it, I think I skipped this part, or I added the baking powder in originally, and it worked just as well. I don't know why they had me doing it this way, but look at baking powder. Look at it shoot out like that. Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. Why am I even putting this on the internet? Look at me trying to scoop up baking powder in order to put it back into. I'm sure there's a reason that you add the baking powder at this stage, okay? But as far as I can tell, it was not. There was a reason that doesn't matter because I did it a different way the first time. It worked fine. Anyways, I'm showing this to you so you can see, look, it doesn't have to go perfectly. This whole time I didn't even know if it was going to work out, but it worked out. Anyway, get it into something like a log, you know, roll it out. It wasn't rolling well. This whole bread, look, it just didn't do the same the second time. I don't know. If I was a contestant on a game show, I would be losing for sure. I would be going out on the technical. Anyway, want to evenly portion it out. Oh, get some extra hands in there. They'll help you roll them out. Nice. Okay, now this is the cool part. You get it into an oval. Okay, you roll it into an oval, and then you're gonna cover it with some oil. Now, if the dough was softer, like it should be, you really need the oil so it doesn't stick together. My dough is still like too stiff, so I actually probably didn't even need to do this chopstick step, but this is how you'll do it. Fold it down, take the chopstick out, and you got a nice little sandwich-looking thing. Okay, one more time. Roll it out into an oval. It does not have to be a perfect oval, okay? Just do your best. Sometimes you can roll it sideways a little bit, widen it out, and have a big one. Then do the oil step. Cover it with oil. Then you add the chopstick in there, flip it over, put it on your little pre-cut thing of parchment. You're gonna do that for all of them, okay? Now they're all set. And now they're all ready to go. You know, it's not that much active work. It's a lot of resting. Cover it, uncover it after a little bit. They will have risen a little bit, but not too much. But they will puff up more in the steamer. This is a steamed bread. So you're gonna get your steamer baskets out, and based on the size that I did and the size of my steamer baskets, I could not do more than 2. I try to do 3 in one of them, and then they just get crowded and they stick together. It's really not worth it. So just try to do 2 per basket, depending on the size. And you guys know how to do steamer basket stuff. You know, you just get your water boiling and simmering, whatever, get that steam going, and steam it for like, I don't know, 11, 15 minutes. I'll put it in the description. And they get a little bigger. See, they puff up a little bit. They're super hot at this point. I always have to wear oven mitts to take them off, but they're good. Okay, that's the steam bread. Now, second bread. Y'all still with me? Second bread, starting with some flour. Now, this dough is supposed to be like a stiffer dough. Okay, you go ahead and add the baking powder. You go ahead and add the sugar. There's no milk in this one. You go ahead and add the yeast right to it, and then you add just room temperature water or whatever. We're not trying to get a huge rise out of this, okay? So it is a yeasted dough, but it's not, you're not gonna let it rest, and the activation of the yeast, it matters, but it's not that important, all right? It's pretty chill. We're not doing the pre-dissolve the yeast. You just throw the whole thing in a bowl, you know, get it to, you could make this in like a mixer too, I guess, but I wanted to do both of these by hand. All right, so once it's mostly into a ball, you turn it out, you're gonna knead it. The idea is to get it elastic, okay? And this usually takes, whatever, it takes between 8 and 15 minutes once you want it to be able to bounce back. And it starts to get, you know, good and doughy. Basically knead it till you can get it into a ball, and then you're gonna rest it, just rest it for like 15, 30 minutes. It's not gonna rise a bunch. We're not resting it so it'll rise. We're just resting it so it gets a better consistency. And you can tell, it gets a little more elastic, which is good. One more knead. Then we're gonna portion this out into 8 pieces, roll them into balls-ish again, just like before. Now the only thing with these guys, we wanna roll them into a circle, but you don't wanna get them too flat. I got these in this picture almost a little too flat, okay? So you're going for a circle. They are gonna puff up, but you wanna be able to cut these in half and use them as sandwich bread. So err on the thicker side, thicker than these anyway. Now, I am using the Xi'an Famous Foods recipe for this, or something like it, something close. You're gonna cook it on one side over on a pan and cover it. And when you cover it, that's what causes it to puff up and rise, so that the heat from within the pan. But you also want it to get like crispy on the outside. You can see them rising there. That's what they're supposed to do. I found the temperature with this to be pretty tricky, actually. Like, you don't want to burn them, and you do want them to get browned. This one here, like, I was basically burning and didn't get to the part where it would rise, you know. So then I just had a really flat bread. That's too flat. These ones right here, they're pretty good. So bread number 1, nice little sandwich bread, opens up, steamed bread, really soft. Bread number 2, you got to cut it open. Look at that structure, look at that steam coming off it. That's what you want. I love a good bing, you know what I'm saying? And it's not that hard to make, as you can see. You make them fresh, they're nice and steamy. You open them, fill them. You don't just have to fill them with vegetables. You can fill them with whatever. My kids like to put cheese on them and just go to town on it. And you don't actually have to eat them all right away. These freeze really well, okay? So you freeze them, and they reheat, put it in a toaster, still gets crisp on the outside. These are still great. That's the bings, okay? That's step 1 to this Cai Jiamo that we are creating. Now, y'all come back next time. I'll show you how to create the next element, okay, that we're gonna incorporate into the perfect Cai Jiamo. Like, if y'all like cooking, then come back, get down on it. Obviously, I've been doing other stuff on my channel these days too. Got some stories that I've been telling. I got some songs that I've been playing. Also, I'm still cooking, okay? And this month, I'm making just street food, which obviously, if you've watched this video, then you know that. So I don't have to tell you that.